Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I am here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. We just want to welcome you into the conversation today because today it's time for Tech Life Weekly. We look forward to contributions from Terry Johnson Online and hopefully from Dr. Chachi all the way from Florida. So we're going coast to coast with tech news today. Fran, what you got for us today?
Well, I am going to do some tech history. So stand by, and Ms. Brittany is going to do that for us today.
Oh, how sweet.
In tech history, April 17th, 1967, the spacecraft Surveyor 3 is launched from Cape Kennedy, Florida. It is the second U.S. spacecraft to make a soft landing on the moon. Surveyor 2 crash-landed, where it will study the lunar surface and send more than 6,300 pictures back to Earth. In all, 7 surveyors will be sent to the moon, 5 of them successfully completing soft landings. April 16, 1977. On the same day at the first annual West Coast Computer Fair, both the Apple II and Commodore PET 2001 personal computers are introduced. Ironically, Commodore had previously rejected purchasing the Apple II from Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, deciding to build their own computers. Both computers used the same processor, the MOS 6502, but the companies had 2 different design strategies, and it showed on this day. Apple wanted to build computers with more features at a higher price point. Commodore wanted to sell less feature-filled computers at a lower price point. The Apple II had color, graphics, and sound selling for $1,298. The Commodore PET only had a monochrome display and was priced at $795. April 15, 2002. Budding entrepreneur Marcel Brown starts his first day as a full-time self-employed professional after years of helping people and small businesses with their technology needs on the side. Marcel is the author of This Day in Tech History, from where we get many of our stories. Thanks, Marcel. April 15th, 1977. The first annual West Coast Computer Fair is held over 3 days in San Francisco, California, attended by 12,750 people. The fair features the debut of the Apple II computer, which features 16 kilobytes of memory, BASIC, a built-in keyboard, 8 expansion slots, and built-in high-resolution color graphics. Many credit this event and the launch of the Apple II as giving birth to the personal computer industry. April 15, 1892. The General Electric Company, GE, is founded. It was formed by the merger of Edison General Electric, started by Thomas Edison in 1890, and the Thomson-Houston Electric Company. GE was one of the original 12 companies listed on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and in 2010 was ranked by Forbes as the world's second largest company. As of 2024, it is listed at number 101. April 14, 1981. The first test flight of the first operational space shuttle, the Columbia, ends successfully as the orbiter lands at Edwards Air Force Base in California. April 14, 1958. The BBC demonstrated the Vision electronic recording apparatus, VIRA, one of the earliest practical video recorders, capable of recording 15 minutes of video. April 14, 1912. The RMS Titanic strikes an iceberg 4 days into its maiden voyage. Over 1,500 passengers drown when the ship sinks early the next morning. The Marconi wireless equipment on board is used to call for help, effectively saving 700 people. It was stated that those who have been saved through one man, Mr. Marconi, and his wonderful invention. Now for tech-making history. April 14th to 18th, 2025 OpenAI introduced 2 new AI models, O3 and O4 Mini, expanding its suite of language models. World Quantum Day was celebrated on April 14th, marking a century since the birth of quantum mechanics. The event emphasized the importance of quantum science and its potential impact on technology and society. Tech industry updates. Google laid off hundreds in its Platforms and Devices division, affecting teams across Android, Pixel, and Chrome as part of a restructuring effort. Motorola announced the upcoming Razr 2025 foldable phone, set to launch on April 24th, featuring a 4-inch cover display and Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. U.S. tech stocks surged after the announcement of tariff exemptions on electronics, with companies like Apple and Nvidia seeing significant gains. And that's your week in tech history. Thanks for watching.
I love her. I love Brittany. She is a winner. That is amazing, Fran. I've just got to get to that because I love the outcome. I am going to spend some time learning that. That is beautiful.
It makes life a lot easier.
Well, not only that, she's just so personable, and you know what I mean. I really like it. So I'm going to work on that this weekend. Okay, see what I
Yes,
can come up with. Oh my gosh. Well, I have a story here from The Verge. You know, they have a new phone out. And
oh,
so let me see if I can share my screen to show this phone. Okay, can you guys see it?
oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, let's see if I can scroll around, let you see it. It is a trifold phone. Is it moving?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you know, we've been talking about these phones. And as you can see, it has this seam here and a seam there, and it stacks. Now let me give you some views since you can see what's going on here. This is what it looks like when it's, you know, sort of folded all together.
Mm-hmm.
This is it in the bi-level with only two screens open. This is in the tri-level. You can see it almost looks like a mini iPad. You know
iPad,
what I mean?
right, right.
And so I wanted you to be able to get a view. This is what the back looks like.
Mm,
And they were saying that because of the way it folds, parts of it can actually be scratched or damaged because it doesn't quite cover the whole screen when it folds together.
mm.
I don't know what that means, but this is the back laid out. And while we're talking, this phone basically sells for around $4,000.
Okay, and there it shall stay. Um, and I know somebody who has a foldable phone, and
Mhm.
uh it's got a thick covering on it, like it's not glass, but it covers the glass.
Uh-huh.
And what happens is when they opened it, there was a gap between the I guess
The
doing this
hinges?
a lot, it is a gap. The plastic is not flush on it anymore.
Oh, wow.
And anyway, I was just like, no, not if I paid all that money. This
Okay.
needs to, and we talked about that. Like if you take a piece of paper and you keep doing this,
Yes.
it, yeah, I still had that issue behind that. We got a couple of comments.
But you see how it folds onto the back? See, like when you, at some point, you're going to be scratching your screens. I,
Right. So Mark has a couple
hey, Mark.
of questions. He said, I still need to know Brittany's birthplace. And then he says, it seems a little bulky for the pocket. For
It
that
is.
reason, I'm out.
They, they talk about the fact that it is so thick. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Because right now we'll slide a phone in your jeans or, slide it in your back. You see how
Yeah.
that buckles?
And
My
that's what the other
this
thing,
phone.
they're not sure what the reaction will be when you sit on it. The reviewer was saying.
Because that was the thing when you put it in your back pocket, because the first thing you want to do is do this, stick it in your pocket so you can go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So can you put the
Can you
the
see
link
the
to this article in the chat?
sure will. Can you see
Okay.
the seams on that picture?
Right, that's what I'm saying. There is uh, buckles. I
Mm-hmm.
call them little buckles.
Yes.
I don't look if it's gonna be like that.
Here,
Eh,
here's another issue. You know it has three screens, right? But it can
mhm.
only show two different sites at a time, two different views. The
And not,
third the third one lays on top. See that?
oh, okay, that's not good.
That's not cute.
No, if I want to do three, I want to see one, two, three different
Exactly.
images. Okay.
I want some convenience. I want something for my money. I want something
Now the
different.
back looks good. I like the leather look and stuff. I
Mhm.
just, it ain't cute. Can you go back up? I wanted to read something I saw. Stop. 24, stop. 24 hours in, I can confirm that the Mate XT feels like an engineering marvel. Whether it's a phone anyone should drop $4,000 on is what I'll spend the next week figuring out. This is the person who's doing this report.
Doing a review over on The Verge. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought this $4,000. Well, I know all we know all phones are going to go up because of recent,
Yeah,
political
but
things.
this
But
one is going up and it ain't even got nothing to do with a tariff.
yep. And he
Um,
says three
Go ahead.
screens should mean three apps, right? Wrong. The split screen mode only supports two at a time. So if you want a third, it'll be a bit awkward. You get that floating window
Floating
that I
window.
showed you. Mm. Yeah, so I like this
Yeah.
review because it had a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
So you could get a more of a feel for what's really going on with this phone.
Mm, I am
Okay.
not. I was never a fan of a folding phone anyway. So
Yeah, I just anything with a hinge is subject to fail. Okay. And that's the way it stacks. Look how thick it is. It's like having three phone to me, it's like having three phones in your pocket.
slide down. I want to see if he said it was heavy. Keep coming the other way. I'm sorry.
Oh, this way? Hmm.
Yeah, keep going. So
Surprisingly,
I'm surprised. Yeah, it's thicker than your average phone and heavier, but it's more
mhm.
comfortable than you think. It's also thinner and lighter than your average 10-inch tablet. So it's all a matter of perspective. Um, at its thinnest, it's actually slimmer than Apple's Find. Okay, most of these are people who run Android because, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
But that's interesting how that view from the top
Hmm.
and now the accordion view. But you see how this is showing in the middle? That
Yeah,
is subject to get scratched and it's part of the screen.
when you fold it out. Okay.
On the
And then
outside.
you can't, here's the thing, you can't put a cover on it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so
Unless somebody comes up with a creative, well, you can't put a cover on it because you got a screen to unfold. Anywho, I'm good.
okay, that'll be $4,000, ma'am.
Mm-mm.
Okay, he said he tried it once before. Let's see, she released outside of China. Here it is, which is today's exchange rates would set you back under $4,000.
Yeah, so he's
Okay,
going to try it out for a couple of weeks and give report back.
okay.
Okay. Well, there we have it.
So let me stop sharing. So I thought that was interesting. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is the fact that Discord, the gaming site, they're
Yeah.
they're they're, they're trying to come up with a face scanning for age checks.
Oh.
Um, hmm So
So
according
so
to
people wouldn't be able to perpetrate fraud anymore and use your brother's uh
birth date or whatever.
mm,
Okay, so Discord is testing face scanning to verify some users' ages in the UK and in Australia. It says, this is according to the BBC, it says the social platform says it's over 2 million monthly users around the world. And it's not just gaming communities now, it's
Mhm.
different kinds of communities. So listen to this sentence, according to BBC. The social platform, which says it has over 200 million monthly users around the world, was initially used by gamers, but now has communities on a wide range of topics, including pornography. And I think this is why they're so concerned about verifying the date, because, porn, porn stars, I guess, have shown up over here with communities. The UK's online safety laws means platforms with adult content will need to have robust age verification in place. Are you ready for this? By July. And social media expert Matt Navarro told BBC, this isn't a one off, it's the start of a bigger shift. Because if they can do it, if they can make it work, then it'll probably be used by other platforms. It says regulators want real proof, and facial recognition might be the fastest route there. So, we got some pushback, right? But campaigners have said these types of checks are ineffective and can lead to privacy issues. So, age assurance is becoming a new seatbelt for the internet, according to Mr. Navarre. Will it become the norm in the UK? He says, honestly, probably. He said he believed that the incoming changes in online safety laws mean online platforms will beef up their age verification processes. The era of click here to confirm you're 13 is dead. Each age verification, because right now, if you get it wrong, you could end up being sued. You could lose a battle in the courtroom and incur fines, because you didn't have enough safety checks in place. The firms which do not comply with the Online Safety Act could be fined up to 10% of their global turnover. That's a hefty.
Right, because kids, I mean, their parents don't want to parent their kids.
Well, the thing is that kids
They're gonna figure out a
find
way
ways. I,
because
I don't think there's one parent who hasn't, unless the kids didn't tell us, hasn't done something that we trained them not to do. Okay.
right. And so here's the thing too. And Mark has a comment. He
Mhm.
says he has two actually. He said, "Be prepared to be insulted." What? I'm not that old. Okay. And then he says, technology can be very helpful in many respects. And let's also not expect technology and the world to do your parenting if you have kids, which is
Well,
true.
and here's the other thing, just like when we had pornography on newsstands, is there not some way to, I don't know, to ensure that people haven't signed up for something like they would if they were signing up for an online magazine? I don't know. I'm
Well,
not a
so
genius at this stuff, but
well, here's a thought that I have. The kids, um, all they have to do is have their brother come in
exactly,
the room and do the little facial thing and leave, and
exactly,
then they're online. That you
exactly.
just get somebody to log in for you.
Exactly. And this is why it's so challenging. You know what I mean? Because that's probably what's
You
going
can
on right now.
you can usurp the whole situation.
Hmm. So it says that Instagram previously bought in age checks using facial analysis in 2022 for users who want to change their profile settings to be over 18. The social media company requires users to take a selfie video on their phone and uses AI to estimate the person's age. Like Discord, they can alternatively upload a picture of their photo ID. Okay, so, the thing is, if kids want to find a way around it, they're going to find a way
They
around it.
will.
I think it's pretty drastic to have the content maker have to pay 10%. I mean, you get 10 really good claims and you're out of business. you know,
Right. And it's all because the kids circumvented whatever
yeah,
system you put in
deliberately
place.
circumvented the process.
Right. And you can't, why would I be held responsible for that when your kid just decides he or she is going to do what they want to do?
Exactly. I have no idea.
It's like the person who manufactured the car is not responsible if somebody take the car and run over somebody or run it through a wall. They're not responsible for that.
Or
Once
the
I sold,
kid, or your kid gets a hold of your car keys.
they're not responsible for that. So why should now? Yes, you put some safeguards in where they just can't come walking in the front door.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But if they're gonna jump the fence, go underground, and do all this stuff to get
You know
in,
what I mean?
okay,
I mean, and even parents have to sleep sometime. Come on.
right. And so and if they're lying to their parents and doing da 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 da, okay, that's on them. Okay, just saying.
So it says Australia's plan to bring in a social media ban for everyone under 16 years this year. Recent research found that more than 80% of Australian children aged 8 to 12 use social media or messaging services that are only meant to be for over 13-year-olds.
But
Okay.
that's because they know how to they know how to jump the fence,
Mm-hmm.
squeeze through the bars. It's not that there's not anything in place.
Well, there you go.
Mm.
I just, I don't know
Okay,
what to
the
say.
parents just need to get a hold of their kids as much as possible, and I just don't think that it's fair to charge the companies if they have things in place. I
Exactly.
don't mean token safeguards. I'm talking about things where, like the alcoholic beverage industry, if you want to go on their site, you have to fill out a whole bunch of stuff just to get into the site
Okay.
to order wine, beer, alcohol, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Can't just
Pop
go
up
in.
in there.
Mm-mm.
So I just thought that this was challenging for companies to try, and then the whole facial recognition. We were concerned about TSA having being able to scan our faces. Can you imagine just a random platform developer having your, and then you remember when we did this whole thing with um I'm trying to think, with the app that most of the 20 somethings are on, Snapchat, and
Mm-hmm.
you scanned your face. Remember that? So they've mapped your face.
Well, quiet as it's kept. Well, it may not be quiet anymore.
Hmm.
In Europe, everywhere you go, they're doing facial rec
Hmm.
already. So
Especially in the UK. UK's
that's
got cameras
everywhere. They got a
everywhere.
channel on YouTube with just the cameras. And okay, I was like, people actually sit here and watch
Evidently, people are interested
traffic
in
and
that.
stuff going on. Okay, but so you're already being seen.
Yes. Well, Mark says this. There's an easier, more economical solution. Stop having children. LOL.
Hey, Fred, good
Good
morning.
morning, Fred. How you doing? Yes. So, that is a concern
Okay,
that this
thank
whole
you.
facial recognition thing for kids to try to come up with some kind of safety measures for them getting into these different sites that may actually have pornographic material or material unsuitable
But
for,
but
for
I'm just
children.
gonna tell you, if somebody wants to do something, they're gonna figure out how to do it. Fred says scanning faces. This is what Hugh
I can't
Huawei
pronounce
was
them. Yeah.
attempting to do all over the world. All these Facebook saps using your face to create this AI doll thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so people, the tools are the tools. Either you're going to use it like it was
Mm-hmm.
purposed for, or you're going to do something else with it. And unfortunately, people do other things with it. All right. Um, Continue, Terry. Any got another one?
Well, there is one here about a project to suck carbon out of the sea. It has started over in the UK, and it's supposed to be a groundbreaking project to take the carbon out of the sea. And here's the thing, nobody, well, nobody, but a lot of people are concerned about government. But it's known as Sea Cure, and it's funded by the United Kingdom government as part of its search for technologies to fight climate change.
Okay.
And there's a broad consensus among climate scientists that the overwhelming priority is to cut greenhouse emissions, okay? Because that is considered to be one of the chief causes of global warming. So, they have found a process. Well, they're looking for a process. Let me back up. These projects are known as carbon capture and usually focus either on capturing emissions at source or pulling them from the air. What makes Secure interesting is that it is testing whether it might be more efficient to pull planet warming carbon from the sea since it's present in greater concentrations in the water than in the air. So they're trying to go with the element that is absorbing most of the carbon. Okay, and so it's testing out the feasibility of removing the carbon from the atmosphere by using the sea. Uh, it it's what it is it consists of a pipe that snakes under the beach and onto the and into the English Channel, and it sucks up seawater and brings it on shore. The project is trying to find out whether removing carbon from the water might be a cost-effective way of reducing the amount of climate uh, warming gas CTO in the atmosphere. So secure processes the seawater to remove the carbon before pumping it back out to sea where it absorbs more CO2. I I don't know.
Okay.
It says the
Well,
ocean absorbs the greenhouse gas CTO. The seawater is then moved to storage. The CTO is removed from the seawater. They send it back out. They get more seawater. What I do you ever end this process with the ocean? I
oh,
anyway,
yeah.
and
Well,
maybe this is just for the test to see if it can be done.
okay,
You know
that
what I mean?
might be a thing because now my basic science class was the trees take the CO2 that we should not be breathing
Mm-hmm.
and give us oxygen,
Oxygen. Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
then we breathe in the oxygen and release the CO2. The trees take in the CO2, release oxygen. So I'm like, should we have more trees? But okay.
Well, it's this process basically is a seawater stripper. The stripper is a large stainless steel tank which maximizes the amount of contact between the acidic seawater and the air. When you
Okay.
open a fizzy drink, it froths. That's the CTO coming out. What we're doing by spending the seawater, says the Professor Bell, on a large surface area, it's a bit like pouring a drink on the floor and allowing the CTO to come out of the seawater really quickly. So
Okay.
I'm just saying, there are
Well,
people who are working on the CTO issues.
good.
Um, mhm, and looking for something that's cost effective, which we all appreciate. Okay. And I'm glad to know that there are governments who really care whether or not we'll be able to breathe in 10 or 20 years from now. Uh,
Okay.
They will give it. Okay, so here's the bottom line. It says in its submission, the UK government, C Secure, said that the technology had the potential to massively scale up to remove 14 billion tons of CTO a year if 1% of the world's seawater on the ocean's surface was processed. For that to be plausible, the entire process for stripping the carbon would have to be powered by renewable energy, possibly by solar panels in a floating installation at sea.
Okay.
Interesting. So uh, I can I can show you pictures. Let me share my screen here.
And I'm gonna put this comment up for for Fred.
You see the pipe coming out. That's the pipe they were talking about that runs under the beach. Spills into a stream a short distance from the sea. Okay, but let me scroll up. I think there were some pictures of the actual machinery. Here we go. Here's the plant. I don't know if it's much different from some of our filtration plants. Seawater in and out. And this is the process. The CTO is absorbed by the ocean, and then the CTO is removed from the seawater.
Okay.
Comes in this way, goes that way. So it just looks like a filtration system to me, and then
Yeah.
back out to sea.
Yep.
Doesn't
It's a
look real complicated. Okay, and
okay.
yeah,
Fred
and
has a couple of comments. He says, I am waiting on a breathing app. A tech company will create some portable breathing machine or helmets like they wore in the Jetsons.
at some point, if this keeps up, we may have to. It may be required.
Okay. 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 I'm not going to talk about Mars.
No,
Okay.
yeah. So those are the things that we wanted to tap into, and
Okay. Well, I have TJ's story because she is out for the Easter holiday, but she did send in her information for
okay.
social media. So stand by
Mhm.
and let me. Do we have it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Here we go. This week in social media news and updates.
Here are the latest social media updates for the week ending April 18th, 2025. Instagram's new blend feature creates a custom Reels feed for you and your friends. Instagram announced that it's rolling out Blend, a new feature that lets you create a custom personalized Reels feed for you and your friends. Blends are invite only and can be created with a singular or with a group chat. The custom feeds are refreshed with new content each day. Once you join or accept the Blend invite, you will be able to browse through reels picked for each person in the chat. When someone in the group reacts to a reel, Instagram will notify you so you can keep a convo going in the DM, direct messaging chat. The idea behind the feature is to explore what sorts of reels your friends are into while also connecting with them and discovering new content together. Blend could be a way to boost Reels discovery and watch time on the social network, as it's encouraging users to watch short form content together. TikTok begins testing footnotes, a new community notes like feature.
No.
TikTok is testing a new footnotes feature that works similarly to community notes on X. Footnotes will allow users to add additional context and relevant information to videos to help others better understand certain content starting in the United States. Similar to other community note systems on X and Facebook, footnotes will allow users who have differing opinions to leave and vote on the helpfulness of a footnote. Hey, footnotes will only become visible to the community once they're rated as helpful. At this point, the broader TikTok community can vote on their helpfulness as well. TikTok says the system will become more effective as more footnotes get written and rated on different topics. Patreon tests a native live video feature. Patreon is finally experimenting with native live streaming, a new feature that could attract more creators and help them earn more money. And the capability is rolling out to select testers this week and will become more widely available this summer. Similar to other platforms, Patreon's new live stream feature comes with a live chat where fans can comment and interact using emoji reactions, as well as the ability to schedule live streams in advance. There are no time limits on how long creators can stream. This means they can stream 24/7 if they want to. However, depending on which plan they have, there's a certain number of videos they're allowed to upload. OpenAI is reportedly developing a social network. OpenAI is working on its own X-like social network, according to multiple sources familiar with the matter. While the project is still in early stages, there's an internal prototype focused on ChatGPT's image generation that has a social feed. Sources say CEO Sam Altman has been privately asking outsiders for feedback about the project. It's unclear if OpenAI's plan is to release the social network as a separate app or integrate it into ChatGPT. And that is your social media news and updates for this week.
All righty, tidy. Okay. So one of them said something about making comments that are beneficial. Who's going to make that determination?
Well, I've seen the thing, when somebody says something, like I saw it over on X, somebody said something, and then the other person said, well, actually, it was da 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 da. And then people thought it was helpful. Yeah. And Fred said AI is going to be the one to determine whether or not it's helpful.
Exactly, which is concerning. Because the question is who within AI is going to determine if it benefits us or not, or the individuals in the thread.
Right. Oh. So, okay.
So now the robots are going to police our conversations.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not quite accurate, but you were hallucinating 5 minutes ago. So anyway, so a lot of different things happening in the world of tech this weekend. It is also the weekend leading up into Easter. Mm-hmm. And so we want you all to have a really good weekend, as it's going to be today is a little shorter program than we normally would have. But we want to thank you for tuning in. And then Fred says AI is the grandchild of the Wiz.
I hear you, Fred. I hear
it's just been funny. What I do think, we encourage people who are watching and coming in, get to know AI. Don't be afraid of it. Figure out how you can use it more effectively in your business, how you can use it to help you do and be better, because it is only going to be able to do whatever you give it to do. It's only going to make you better if you use it in the correct manner. So get to know it.
And use it for good.
Yes, use your powers for good. Train it the way you want to train it. And let's see what happens. Yes. Fred says, I have been showing a few older people Gemini, right? Because it talks back to you. Remember we did that story one time, it was back in 2016 probably, where they had a cat or something to be a companion to people.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a real cat. but
It was a mechanical companion animal.
well, with Gemini, if somebody's home alone or whatever, they can talk to the thing. So what
Okay,
are
now
you
you're
doing?
scaring me. Go ahead.
Well, no, because Gemini, you can talk to it, it'll talk back to you.
Okay.
Um, and so will Chat GPT for that matter. But you can have conversation, and so you don't have to feel alone. So
Mhm.
what do you think I should wear to this gala event? Well, what mood are you in? And it really does talk back to you,
Mhm.
which I think could be helpful for people who are maybe living alone. They can actually have a conversation. It's just like talking to the device in the house,
Okay.
except for the device in the house does not chit chat back and forth yet.
Mhm. Hmm.
Fred says, I need to get deeper in this because I use it to enhance documents and more. I use Grammarly to cook it and finally put my essence in it. Right. And I find for writing, he says, writing proposals and more.
Mhm.
So that's what I use Chat GPT for. I call him Charles. And I can say, well, what about this? And can you do this? And it will keep, it has a deeper feature now. So you can go deeper into something.
Mm,
Lately,
mhm.
I've been using it for image generation, and the images are looking pretty good. TJ's images look like really, really nice people there. So anyway, that's where we got Brittany from.
From Gemini
Yes.
or from
No, I got Brittany from Chat GPT.
mhm.
And it was very accurate as long as I'm accurate with my words. Yeah. Yeah. So it's good. And in my writing, after I've written what I wanted to write, I put it
Mhm.
into Chat GPT and ask it, okay, is this clear? Is the flow clear? Because sometimes when you write, stuff could be out of order and it would
Mhm.
suggest a better flow or whatever. And then you tell it to maintain your tone and sentiment. If you've already set it up for it to know who you are. And there's a way to go when you first get Chat GPT, you can, well, afterwards too, you can go in there and on the profile and give give it information about yourself so it can start
Mhm.
talking in your voice, and it won't sound like, oh no, I would never say that.
Mm, mhm.
And you have to train it to talk
Okay.
like you. And Fred says, I use Gemini because it saves everything or result in Google Docs and more, very convenient. Yes. And just to note, I just started using projects in Chat GPT where I have a folder for
Mm.
whatever project I'm working on, and I can go back to that project and it will remember the last conversation I had in that project
About that project.
about that project. And so I'm keeping up with there. And then he says, here is a secret. I always end in telling it to write it in layman's term.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. And that is very crucial. Terry tells it to be, I need you to make this so a third grader can understand it. and
Yeah,
it
the
worked.
reading level.
Yeah. So that is what we have for you today on BizChicks Tech Life Weekly. We want to thank you for tuning in live and on the replay. To get connected with BizChicks, text biz to 33777 or go to bizchicks.net. We want you to have a very good Easter weekend. And Fred, yes, you are right. The journalistic third grader. Yep. I just need to understand what you're talking to me about.
Mhm, mhm.
Fred said, happy egg hunting weekend. So we want you all to have a very safe and
Happy holiday.
Yes, a happy holiday. And we will see you on Monday. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and live and on the replay. And remember that we're always here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle. We will see you next week. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.